Hello everyone and welcome to your final lesson of Module 1, which is Lesson 8 of your professional diploma in social media marketing. Well done for making it this far. You are completing Module 1. You should be very proud of yourselves. And again, thank you so much for choosing to further yourself with Shaw Academy. Let's get started with Lesson 8. Instead of a fact, I'm going to test your knowledge from the previous lesson. How many pieces of content does the average person consume before making a purchase? You can simply type in A, B, C, or D, depending on what you think your answer is. How many pieces of content does the average person consume before making a purchase? Is it 5.6, 11.4, 9.3, or 10.2? The answer is B. It is 11.4 pieces of content before even making a purchase. And this does not include the purchase phase, the retention, or the advocacy phase. This is just your awareness and your consideration phases that people are consuming that amount of content. Well done to those of you who got the answer right. As you know by now, I am Jessica Hanna and I am your social media course educator. The quote that I have for you for today is, "Time management is an oxymoron. Time is beyond our control and the clock keeps ticking regardless of how we lead our lives. Priority management is the answer to maximizing the time we have." So when you feel as though you don't have enough time to manage your social media, always prioritize what is important. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to chat with our AI chatbot Morpheus, and you can ask and answer questions in the chat box here. You can talk with Morpheus or you can talk with your classmates. And please remember to rate the responses that you get so that we can improve your Shaw Academy experience going forward. And if you have any further queries, please feel free to email us on support@shawacademy.com. Remember that success requires effort and commitment, and we are here to make it as easy as possible for you to attend lessons and to help you succeed. All you have to do is don't drop out, and you will see improvements with every single lesson and be one step closer to achieving your goals. In Lesson 7, we learned the different types of content. We also learned the content development process, as well as content creation and what makes engaging content, as well as what users want, and copywriting and design tips. Welcome to Lesson 8. This is the final lesson where we will introduce you to social media management. In this lesson, you will learn what social media management is, as well as what it entails. You will learn the skills required for a social media manager, and we'll go through tips to succeed in social media management, as well as an introduction to what you will learn in advanced social media management in Lesson 8 of Module 2. Let's jump into social media management. What exactly is social media management? It can be defined as the process of creating, scheduling, analyzing, and engaging with content posted on social media platforms. Everything that we have covered in lessons 1 to 8 is ultimately to bring the entire process of social media management together. We have covered creation, scheduling, and analyzing content, but let's delve a little bit deeper into engaging on social media, which is really the main function of social media management. And there are many aspects to actually managing your social media once your strategy is completed. Some of the tasks that you will see in social media management include social media strategizing. We've spoken about having to strategize in Lesson 4. This is a key component of being able to manage all your social media. Another task would be scheduling posts to a variety of channels. So you will be using multiple channels and you need to be scheduling those posts as you go. Managing community relationships, which is replying and commenting to messages or posts, as well as measuring brand sentiment and managing your brand's online reputation. You need to know what the perception of your brand is online in order to be able to manage it. You will also be responsible for monthly reporting and analysis. As we went through in Lesson 6, you need to be able to analyze the metrics within your social media data in order to take action on what the data says and to improve your social media. one of the key facts in social media management is to be able to collaborate with multiple departments in order to get quality content and to streamline online experiences for your users. All of this cannot be done without some kind of social media management tools. This is a lot of work, especially if you are a business owner managing your own social media or if you are a one-person marketing team. But luckily, there are a lot of social media management tools that are there to help you out. Some of these tools include Sprout Social, as well as CoSchedule, Syfe, Quintly, and HubSpot. As we spoke about in lesson 7, there are many tools that can assist you with social media management. It depends on what your company needs are and what kind of budget you have available for management tools. I'm not sure if you checked it out, but are you currently using any of these tools? What do you like about using them, or are there any tools that you want to use? You can just type an A for yes and a B for no if you are currently using any of these tools, or if you've checked them out after we spoke about them in lesson 7. Let me know what tools you are using and which ones work best for you. In order to be successful at social media marketing or social media management, you need to have certain skills. Let's talk about some of the skills that you need for successful social media management. But first, we want to differentiate between soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills are skills that are related to personality, behavior, and emotional intelligence, while hard skills are more tangible. They come from experience, training, or practice. After hearing these definitions, which of these do you think is a soft skill? You can type in A for playing guitar or B for teamwork. Can you identify the soft skill between A and B? Simply type the corresponding letter to what you think this is. And the answer is B. So teamwork is a soft skill. Remember that we said this is related to personality and behavior. Let's take a look at some of the soft skills that you would need in order to be a successful social media manager. As we said, soft skills are related to personality as well as emotional intelligence. If we look at some specific examples of what a soft skill required would be for social media management, you would need curiosity. Social media is continuously evolving and changing, and you need to be curious about these changes. If you're not curious, it means that you're probably not going to go looking for what changes are currently occurring on social media, and this is problematic because you will not know what kinds of content to create or what trends to work off of in order to target your audience and produce content that they enjoy. There are also a lot of websites or blog posts that you can sign up to in order to get updates on what is happening, as well as many, many podcasts. And each of the platforms themselves releases blog posts that can always help you to improve your social media. So you need to be curious about all of these updates and what technology is available to you. A good skill to have is also adaptability, because the environment of social media is always changing. You, of course, need to be able to adapt, but sometimes things don't always go the way that you plan them to. You have the perfect strategy, you may have the perfect schedule, you may have the perfect management tool, everything is running smoothly, but sometimes there are holdups or changes in plans. You need to be able to adapt your content and your posting in order to cater for the real world. When you're busy making plans, life happens. So it is a good skill to have. Business savviness is also really useful. You need to be aware of what the changes in your industry are, as well as how to drive those conversions, because at the end of the day, you are using social media marketing as a business tool. You also want to have some kind of creativity. We want to think out of the box. Like we said, good, engaging content is original, and you want to give a different perspective to what everyone in your industry or your competitors are providing. You also need strategic thinking. We know about our strategy. We know that we have to create it, and we cannot create that strategy without some kind of strategic thought behind it. You also need patience. Sometimes it can be difficult, processes get held up, and particularly if you are working at a digital agency or if you are a social media manager, you've got clients, you freelance, you of course require the content from their side, and it can often be frustrating when you want to post and you have a schedule and your clients are not meeting your content deadlines. You do need a bit of patience, and this is also where adaptability comes in. You have to be able to adapt and you have to be patient. Being passionate also helps a lot. I am extremely passionate about social media, which is why I am here to teach you all about it. Hopefully, I'm inspiring some kind of passion in you as well. Passion definitely helps because if you're passionate, it comes through in your work and it doesn't even feel like work at that point. It becomes pure enjoyment. So, passion is definitely an advantage, but not a necessity. And finally, we want teamwork. We need to be able to collaborate between multiple departments within our organization in order to gather that content, create it, and get it out to our audiences. Some of the social media hard skills, and again, these are skills that we can always work on, would include copywriting. We've spoken about having well-written copy that entices our users and calls them to take an action and grabs their interest. You can also learn design. You know that we offer a wonderful graphic design course, and I would definitely suggest jumping onto that after you've completed your social media marketing. But design is something that you can learn, which is absolutely amazing. This allows you to put beautiful designs onto your social media and drive even more engagement. Public speaking is also a bonus. Working on social media does not necessarily require you to speak in public, but you may have to address your company, provide any feedback, report on the state of your social media, and you may also want to start doing videos and become the face of your company, as well as attending industry events. You also want to improve your customer service and community engagement skills. Know how to deal with customers in the best way possible, as well as engaging with them and being involved with them. Behavioral psychology is a plus. It's obviously used in sales a lot, but in order to know what to post and drive sales or purchases, as well as leads, you need to know how people behave and what triggers them, what ticks they'll respond to, or what their needs are, as well as any of their pain points and how you can then drive them to take action on that. And it's also helpful to know different personality types, as we saw in the Myers-Briggs personalities in lesson 3, because not one personality will respond the same way as another. It's important to have an interest in human behavior. And then, of course, analytics. We've been over analytics, and as we saw in that lesson, which was lesson 6, it's all fair and well to be able to look at data and track those metrics, but what is the data actually telling you? And what actions can you take from analyzing those metrics? This is a skill that takes time to improve and to develop. And then, of course, budgeting. So we all know the basics of budgeting, but in terms of social media, you want to be able to ensure that you're putting a budget in the right places and managing that entire process correctly so that you're not wasting any money and that you're getting a good return on investment from whatever spend you're putting out there. Let's take a look at some tips that we need in order to be successful at social media management. First up, we need to plan. We need to know where we're going and what steps we're going to take in order to get there. Remember that failing to plan is planning to fail. So we definitely need a plan. We need to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and when we're doing it. And then we need to do it and review it. Another element that contributes to successfully managing your social media is using themes. This is really helpful in terms of your content and finding content that is applicable to your industry, applicable to your audience, and that you will be able to easily create and use as well as leverage off of. You then want to choose your focus platforms. Focus on your main platforms. Again, if you're only using one or two, perfect. That is 100% go with that. But as we saw in our lesson 6 with our data, you could go onto Google Analytics and you can see which platforms are driving the most conversions. And those are going to then be your focus platforms. And then you can also identify secondary platforms. And those will be platforms such as if you have a support platform, that would then be your secondary platform. So it's not that it isn't important, but again, we're talking about prioritizing what you can and cannot do. Other elements that will help you to successfully manage your social media would be to solidify your post times and frequency. There are general rules, which we will go over in module 2, as to how often to post per platform, but Here's the thing. At the end of the day, if it gets to a point where you are not producing quality content that is helping you to succeed towards your goals, then you need to reanalyze your post times as well as your frequencies, or at least the frequency at which you post. Always remember to work within your own capacity. It doesn't help if you are posting 5 times a day to each platform, but then you're not generating any kind of useful engagement or conversions from that. Work within whatever your capacity is to be able to strategize, create, post, monitor, whatever is within your capability to do, then follow that. I will give you general guidelines on this in future, but please work within your capacity, because bad content is not going to help anyone at the end of the day. You also want to get buy-in. If you're a social media manager, you need to get buy-in from your own managers as well as your colleagues. And if you are a business owner, you also want to try and get buy-in from your employees in order to help you with creating content. You can connect with your customers better, talk to your sales team. What have they found out about what the needs are of your customers? And then you can start creating content around that. And then try to get into the habit of taking photos. It's much, much easier to have more photos than you need than to have too little. Take photos of everything. Take photos of events, products, new services, employees, any kind of company events, any conferences that you attend, anything to do with your company, start taking photos of that. It's better to have something and not use it than to not have anything and need something to use. Other things that will help you to succeed with your social media management would be to follow influencers. Follow influencers within your industry so that you can see what is happening, you can stay on top of trends and updates, as well as what is happening on social media. Again, this is in order to be able to leverage off of those influencers, as well as off of trends. So following industry trends and ensuring that you know what they are, and then leveraging off of those trends in order to build your own social media presence. And of course, you want to engage. Always, always engage. I'm not saying that you have to write essays to every single person who comments. You simply have to like if they share your post, just to ensure that you are present and that people know that you are seeing what they are doing. People want to build a relationship with brands. We've discussed this. Ensure that you are present and that they know that their input is valuable to you. And last but not least, brainstorm. More minds are always better than one. Every single person has a different way of looking at situations, and we have different ideas, different types of creativity. Choosing one person from each of your departments to represent that department for social media is really, really useful to you as a social media manager. Come together, brainstorm some ideas. Absolutely anything goes when you are brainstorming. Write it all down. There is no stupid suggestion, and then you can use what you want from there. So there is no wrong contribution when it comes to brainstorming. Every single option is put onto the table so that you can get people involved. Again, this is where buy-in helps. Get them to buy into the idea and then also brainstorm ideas. Some mistakes that you want to look at avoiding will be sporadic posting. Your fans will get used to seeing posts from you and expect them once they have built a relationship with your brand. I've highlighted the importance of a posting schedule, and this is why. Be consistent in the frequency as well as the times of your posts. Also avoid not engaging. Fans want to feel as though they are being heard by a brand. Remember that engagement doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start a full-on conversations with your audience, but if they share your post to their page, simply like it. That counts as engagement. Be sure to always respond to negative comments because most users won't be put off your brand by negative comments, but they will be put off your brand if they see that there is absolutely no response at all to a negative comment. You also want to avoid an inconsistent presence. We have touched on this as well. Ensure that your brand is represented consistently across multiple channels. This means that whether I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, I can easily associate all of your posts with your brand channel. And then try to avoid not using a management app. If you are using only 1 or 2 channels, then you may not require a management app because you can easily keep track of what is happening. But when you get to 3 or more platforms, using a management app is essential. It will save you so much time and effort when it comes to scheduling your posts, monitoring, and reporting. Now that we know what successful social media management entails, as well as what mistakes to avoid, we want to look at social media engagement. Let's first look at what social media engagement is. Social media engagement can be defined as responding to followers on social media. As I've said, this doesn't mean that you have to write personalized notes to every single fan who reacts, but you respond with a like and only respond to comments when it is necessary. There are some key rules for engaging with your fans on social media. The first rule, of course, is to monitor. If you don't know what is happening on your social media, then you can't respond to it. This is where management tools are very useful, and particularly if you start to use social listening tools. As we learned in lesson 4 in our strategy development, part of that is preparing answers to questions and an emergency response plan as best you can. Try and prepare those responses on social media, as this ensures that you have consistent messaging and that you can respond quickly, showing promptness as well as saving you time. On the note of preparation, ensure that your responses are still relevant and that they provide substance. Put some consideration and effort into your responses. Again, this is where your strategy determines the success of your social media marketing, because you want to then also incorporate your brand personality. These need to come through in responses, and it has to come through all your social media efforts, all the way from content to responses. Ultimately, there will be some negative commentary on your social media. Always try to diffuse any online tension. You can do this by agreeing and providing an objective point of view from your side. You can also ask that the interaction be moved offline by asking the individual to DM you or direct message you with their details. And if it is completely outrageous, then it will be okay to ignore, as it will ultimately discredit itself. You also want to ensure that you are consistent within your responses. It can be frustrating for a user to receive different responses to the same question, and again, consistency in your responses in accordance with your brand personality. In order to monitor and keep track of engagement or comments, you can integrate your social media with other systems like a management app, or if you find that you get multiple queries that have to go to different departments, then you can set up a ticketing system such as Zendesk. And if you bring the combination of all of these factors together, this will start to build on itself with your fans or your brand advocates, who will start sharing your content, as well as sometimes standing up for your content or your services. Particularly if there is a negative comment, then they might say, well, that is not their experience. And we will see an example of this a little bit later in this lesson. When engaging on social media, these are typically the rules that you should follow. In Module 2, we are going to be looking at more advanced social media management tasks. I want to introduce you to some of these terms right now, as well as what they mean. We have reputation management. This refers to the influencing and controlling of an individual or a group's reputation. You might be wondering why this is so important. And here I have an example of reputation management gone wrong. JP Morgan Chase attempted to open up a Twitter Q&A with their top executive Jimmy Lee in order to improve public relations amidst a series of events that had the company's reputation in less than sparkling condition. While questions were slow to start, JP Morgan and Chase got more than they bargained for when they were asked questions regarding their recent legal problems. They received a fine from the financial crisis, as well as varying questions about their corporate social responsibility practices. We have highlighted this in previous lessons. People are concerned with a business's corporate social responsibility. They want to know that companies are contributing to the good of society and bettering society. They also received a barrage of insults. While there was a high number of responses, over 66% of the 80,000 tweets sent with the hashtag AskJPM were negative. In Module 2, we will learn how to avoid situations like this. Following this, they cancelled their Q&A, and of course they mentioned there that it was a bad idea and they're going back to the drawing board. So you have to be aware of what your public sentiment is on your brand. We've discussed this as well in content creation, which was lesson 5, how you can host a Q&A, but beware of situations like this. In lesson 8 of module 2, we will also be looking at community relationship management, which is a method used by companies to establish and maintain a mutually beneficial relationship with their communities. Here is an example of community relationship management gone wrong. This was by Netflix. They cancelled their very popular combo program of streaming video and getting DVDs. The two programs were split. It would cost $7.99 per package, so either streaming videos or receiving DVDs, or $15.98 for both. This was a 62.5% price increase from the original price of $9.99. Of course, there was an absolute uproar about this. Netflix lost about 800,000 subscribers and their stock dropped 35%. So you have to know your customers and what they want, and then manage the relationship between yourself and them. We will also be learning about social media policies, and this is a corporate code of conduct that provides guidelines for employees who post content on the internet. And this is really, really why it is key. As you can see here, Nestle got into an altercation with Paul Griffin over here about users using their logo, even if it is altered. And at the end here, it becomes extremely unprofessional, very personal, and very aggressive. So you want to avoid situations like this at all costs. And this is where your social media policy comes in. You need to tell your employees or whoever's managing your social media how to interact and deal with various situations online. And then we will also be looking at social listening, which is the process of monitoring digital conversations to understand what customers are saying about a brand or within an industry online. And here is an example of one gone wrong. This is with Virgin Mobile. And unfortunately, while they did eventually respond, their response took almost a day. And before that, there were a whole lot of comments that reflected negatively on their brand, as well as with Telsus. We see here that there's a comment. So we spoke about brand advocates sticking up for your brand. And there, if you can see on the right-hand side, Kyle Augustus, he says here, I've been with Telsus for over 11 years and have nothing but good to say about them. Telsus then responds with, hi Kyle, what is wrong? Or what's wrong? If there's anything we can help you with, please send a DM. But he's actually advocating their brand. So their response, again, is not correct to the situation. So there's a combination of issues here. It's first of all, having the appropriate responses to your customers, and especially here, if he's advocating, Telsus could have used this opportunity to say to Missy, who is having a complaint, hey, don't bother anymore with Virgin Mobile. We are here to help you. What can we do for you? What do you need? And then Virgin Mobile only later on responds with a how can we help after all of these comments. So there's missed opportunities. The comments are already negative. There's a bad situation going on. And if they had been on top of the situation, they could have corrected it very quickly. So that is the importance of social listening. And then here is a good example of all of the above: reputation management, community relationship management, social media policies, and social listening done the right way. This is, of course, from Nike. First of all, they're on top of the situation. They reply very quickly. They also provide helpful information, and they're a little bit humorous in their response. And then they responded even when the situation was corrected, and they offered additional help. So all of these elements are doing all of the above the correct way. Coming up next is Module 2. And in Lesson 1 of Module 2, we are going to be going through the step-by-step process of developing in-depth buyer personas. So you have that to look forward to. In this lesson, though, we learned what social media management is, as well as what it entails, and the skills required for successful social media management, as well as tips to succeed in social media management. We went through some of what you will learn in advanced social media management, which will be Lesson 8 of Module 2. Congratulations on completing Lesson 8. I hope that you have learned a whole lot during this module, and I hope that you will be able to implement that into your current social media marketing. Please feel free to send us any feedback or suggestions. You can email us on support@shoreacademy.com. Again, well done and congratulations on completing Module 1. You have made it this far. I love teaching social media marketing, so thank you so much for choosing to learn the subject with me. You have completed Module 1 and there is just one more step to go. You will need to complete your Module 1 assignment, which will be available after this lesson, so make sure that you order your e-certificate on completion. Module 2 is the intermediate module and it starts next week, picking up right after this lesson and upping the level of your knowledge and information, so you will see your skills advance rapidly. There are so many benefits to qualifications. So before I wrap up this lesson, I want to talk to you about the bigger picture and the places that education has taken me, and with the right help, where it can take you. Education definitely opens doors to more qualifications. So the more qualifications you have, the more access to opportunities you have. You can also expand your current skill set in order to get a promotion, as well as to broaden your career opportunities. You can also improve your career progression, and with that, you will have a higher earning potential. So reach for the stars and feel empowered. People just like you are achieving this with us every single day. At this point, you've come so far and you cannot afford not to finish this course. On that note of being able to afford to, we have a very limited offer. We can only enroll so many students on these packages. Get your place and your discount secured now. I know that a lot of students have been talking to their course guidance counselors and they want to do their courses. When you're doing your courses, you want to give yourself enough time to complete your courses comfortably, and you can take out a 6 or 12-month membership to achieve your goals. You can also get up to 50% off. So contact us. Time is running out. Are you ready for Module 2 of Lesson 1? Now that you have mastered the basics, you can improve on your skills and become a social media superhero. There are students just like you who have messaged in. This is from Melody, and she says that she loves her experience with Shaw Academy, that she lost all hope until she was introduced to our online courses. There are no chances of missing out, and also she couldn't afford it, and now she can. Shaw Academy has given her a chance that she never thought she would have, and we can give that exact same chance to you for you to succeed, because we offer education that is convenient, flexible, affordable, interactive, and internationally recognized, providing you with higher education at a lower cost so that you can learn your own way. If you go through to your members area, here is where you will see the option to take out the 3, 6, or 12-month program. Of course, if you want to save the most money, the 12-month option is the best. But go for the one that best fits your budget and your needs. All we want you to do is succeed. So join us in helping you to achieve your goals. Thank you so much for attending Module 1 and for choosing to study with Shaw Academy. Again, congratulations on completing Module 1. I hope that I will see you at Module 2.